who is a melee unit, part of the rogue class on the physical side. So Sanctified Circle, Faramor consumes, so this is his ultimate, and do note he starts with 300 initial energy. One thing I have noticed is that heroes who start off with an initial energy have a slight advantage and have some utility as well, because with Lily May being a counter for hyper carries like Siren and Cryonaya, right? Because you want to deny them their most crucial ult. Having allies that are able to bait the Lily May ult cancel by starting off with some initial energy to ult first is quite useful. So ultimate Sanctified Circle, Faramor consumes 250 energy to summon one tile magic circle centered on his current target, dealing 210% true damage to enemies caught inside. So this is kind of a big deal, because anytime we see true damage potential, we have to pay attention, because it means that that ally will bypass 100% of the enemy's defenses, which has actually a significant impact on stages where the enemy boss is very chunky, such as any endless dream realm. While the circle is active, he consumes 120 energy per second to maintain it. Enemies within the circle cannot be healed, so kind of like a Saturana-esque ability. That's cool. Every 0.5 seconds they take 35% true damage. So once again, true damage plus extra true damage equal to 20% of their lost HP. Yes, Rogan Wilder looks promising. The extra true damage cannot exceed 240% of Faramor's attack. If no enemies remain in the circle for 1 second, the skill ends immediately. So I think in the trailer the circle was maybe about the same size as Ludovic's healing field, and of course, as Faramor gets stronger, his magic circle deals more damage. Alright, so Glory's Embrace. So Faramor, this is his first skill. Faramor prays to imbue his weapon with sacred power, gaining a shield that absorbs 200% damage while dealing 250% damage to his current target. The shield lasts for 6 seconds. If Faramor has an active non-permanent stat boost, from his allies when using the skill, it instead deals true damage. So this is pretty neat. So this is another form of true damage capability. Click the animation button. Where's the animation button? You know how Dionyl, he wants to be surrounded by allies that give him a non-permanent buff? This allows him to do extra damage, do true damage, kind of in the same way as Dionyl. It's on the ult. Oh. Ooh. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, so that was his ult animation. That's pretty awesome. And we'll, of course, showcase Faramor, so we'll see the ultimate animation again. Okay, so moving on to the second skill, Sacred Pledge. Passive ability during battle preparation. So basically when you're in the team formation mode, Faramor can bless an adjacent allied hero, prioritizing those placed behind him. Kind of like with Sonya. But Sonya prioritizes heroes, I think, in front of her, diagonally. Okay, and then Faramor active. Faramor increases attack by 12% for 10 seconds for both himself and the hero he blesses, automatically reapplying the buff when it expires. Ooh, okay. So this is kind of like a Parisa-esque effect. He can power himself up and an ally that he is blessing, extra attack percent for 10 seconds. So he himself applies a temporary buff. That is noteworthy. A potential partner for Dionyl, perhaps. Every 3 seconds when the buff is active, Faramor also deals 100% damage to enemies within 1 tile of both himself and the blessed hero, stunning the affected enemies for 0.5 seconds. This is pretty cool. You have basically 2 sources of very brief stun, both himself as well as his buffed ally. So that is pretty neat. Is this true damage? It's more of a buff. Okay. More buff and slight damage. Hero focus, he can give himself haste. Very nice. Okay, so this is his EX weapon. So Faramor replaces his normal attack with Glory's Embrace while his magic circle is active. But the shield value he gains from Glory's Embrace is capped at 600%. Okay. The magic circle also weakens the enemies within it, allowing allies to deal extra true damage equal to 75% of their attack. Wow, okay, so with his EX weapon, he can make himself and anyone within his magic circle do true damage, equal to 75% of their attack. Each ally can only trigger the extra damage once every 1 second. Okay. And then at EX10, when an enemy is defeated within the magic circle, grants Faramor 10% attack and expands the circle radius to 2 tiles. So I guess the magic circle starts with a 1 tile radius and expands to 2. Now, I kind of don't like this. It makes us, well, it could be good or bad. The good is you don't need Faramor EX10 to make him Dream Realm worthy. However, in a PvP perspective, you probably need this. Now, the exception to this is if you were going against Plague Creeper or if you're going against Skyclops. So that would be the exception. But other than that, usually when you beat the Dream Realm boss, the match is over. So you won't get the EX10 proc. Alright, and then finally, the Supreme Plus ability, Enhanced Force. If an enemy revives within Faramor's magic circle after their HP drops to 0, Faramor will reduce their vitality by 50. Now, this has PvP implications because, you know, right now we have one of the most powerful team archetypes where you run Talene in the front, Tassie right behind her, that way she gets the Pyre of Renewal, Damien, and then you'll have like Bonnie and Lorson, or you have Bonnie and Aaron, you know, with the Wilder Concealed tiles. Very almost unbeatable team. With Faramor, just by splashing Faramor into your team, you make it so that basically Talene, whenever she revives, she doesn't heal as much, right? Her vitality is reduced by 50, which is a lot, by the way. That's a lot of vitality lost. I think if memory serves me right, Satrana causes like a 60 to 80 vitality loss. So this is quite significant. And this is automatic, you know, when they try to revive. And the same thing goes with Tassie. Tassie won't be alive for very long whenever she revives. So this is a hard counter to one of the most prolific archetypes right now, the most unbeatable archetype. So I think this is a niche role, but because of this makes Faramor a very splashable PvP unit that can hard counter certain archetypes. So that's quite nice. Okay, so now that we've gone over his kit, let's go ahead and summon him. I have accumulated enough diamonds to guarantee at least 1 copy. This is my 3rd account, so let's see how many copies we can get. So yeah, hopefully if we can get 2 copies, that would be great. But if we only get 1 copy, that's alright as well. Okay, they're making us hit hard pity, so alright, very cool. So here is our Faramor looking very solid. Okay, let me just take a screenshot of this for the thumbnail. Okay, and because he's A rank, so it comes with 8 copies. So this is actually kind of nice for free-to-plays because I think that is at least 2 ascensions right there. And let me see if we can get any more. No, I think I'm out of diamonds at this point. That's fine. Okay, so let's go ahead and ascend him. Now, as a free-to-play player, you don't. It's actually a little. It takes some time to get beyond Epic Plus. So I think an Epic Faramor is a fairly relatable thing to see. So he looks badass, right? Very cool. Okay, so let's first try him out in Dream Realm. And actually today with Skyclops, it's very good. Although because we only have 2 copies, we'll only have essentially his ultimate and his first 2 skills, which is alright, because this is where the true damage comes in. What I'm curious about is if I replace a legendary Bonnie with an epic Faramor, does he end up doing more damage? Oh, and by the way, okay, so this is him and buffing an ally, and he prioritizes the one behind him. And keep in mind, with the second skill, the ally that he blesses, he provides attack. So this is really good. And the stun won't really matter. Okay, now 2 things that I'm looking for. One is, does he do decent damage? And 2, where does his healing circle go? Does it reach far enough to hit the Skyclops? I think the magic circle appears right where his target is, and because we only have one target, the magic circle should appear on Skyclops. And just to remind you all, the implications of the magic circle is that well, with a base copy, enemies within it, oh, I think allies within the circle do true damage, right? Let me see. Okay, so well, Faramor for sure will do true damage to the enemies caught inside, but how about the allies? The allies was from the EX weapon, is that right? Yeah, it was from the EX weapon. Okay, so let's go ahead and run it. Where's the magic circle? Oh, there's his ultimate. Now the magic circle appears. So that was 18 seconds in. So even with his starting energy, it actually took longer to cast the magic circle than I thought. But we are already beating our previous score from 4 days ago. So that is quite promising. I know resonance level does impact, but I'm really curious about his damage output. Keep in mind that as a free-to-play player, your resonance level will have more impact than the number of copies you have of that hero. That has been my experience with all 3 of my free-to-play VN accounts. Okay, and this is around where, so actually in this particular situation, I probably would want to bring Coco to survive, because we still had plenty of time, but we did lose a lot of heroes. Alright, so I'm just going to speed it up because we pretty much died. Alright, so moment of truth, let's go ahead and see how much damage we did. Yo! Okay, an epic Faramor did 50% more damage than a mythic Odie. Let me, I think hopefully you guys process that. Wow. What? That's the true damage, right? Because with the magic circle, he does true damage to whoever's inside. And this Skyclops, I forgot to mention, was it endless or hell? It was hell mode, so he probably would do even more damage relative to Odie, you know, against an endless boss. So that is very cool. Now I'm curious. Remember, we had 32 to 36 seconds left with, you know, but Faramor died. So what if we made him the hyper carry, right? Or actually, let me try this first. Let me see if with Coco, the shield, hopefully the twins will keep everyone alive. Let's see. We have like 10 attempts, so let's just try it. But, you know, from my initial impression, at least from a free-to-play perspective, I think he is extremely valuable for a free-to-play account. I would say almost as valuable as a 1 copy of Fresto, which actually we started doing against the Alpha Bear Primal Lord who appeared yesterday. 1 copy of Fresto did 2.5 times more damage than a mythic Odie. 1 copy of Fresto. So if Faramor at 2 copies, or I guess like 1 Ascension, is capable of doing 50% more than a Mythic OD, that's very promising. We could actually run him against the Alpha Bear and see how it goes. I had to clean my glasses, I know, right? Wait, I need a copy for my main VN account. Yeah, he could be a very solid 1 copy, because generally speaking, I tell players not to summon on a rate-up banner if you are a brand new free-to-play player, just because the drop in amount of A rank heroes that you get on a rate-up banner is just not worth the trade-off. And by swapping OD out for Coco, we're already beating our score. We have 36 seconds left. 37. Guys, this is insane. Wow. Oh, sorry, we didn't swap OD out, but okay, we're going to go into Endless, guys, and this is perfect timing because we can actually see if his damage comparison to a Mythic OD, if the mismatch increases with Endless. Because keep in mind, with Endless Dream Realm bosses, the Dream Realm boss will have more defenses to bypass. So this is really cool. All right, and we actually had quite a bit of time left. Guys, this is my 3rd account. This is my weakest VN account. We're already, I mean, I know it just started, but normally I'm like rank 150 on this account. So check out the damage, guys. Faramor with more longevity did almost twice as much damage. So keep in mind, an epic Faramor, we only ascended him once, did almost twice as much damage as a Mythic OD. We kick OD for Lily May for max damage. Yes, I think we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, so let's move on. Now I'm gonna... oh, that was with epic. I'm sorry. So now this is a hell mode Skyclops. But the same applies. The defenses should increase, so the true damage will be more relevant. I think Lily May also does true damage, so this will be interesting. But let's just try to do as much apples to apples as possible. Let's go ahead and run this. Now, I'm curious as to whether we will survive until the end. But this is really good. You know, if at this low copies for free-to-play is this, you know, insane of an impact, I mean, it's very... This Faramor is looking like a very value-oriented hero then. And look at how much damage he did to the bats. That's pretty good. So he probably, at Supreme Plus, when he gives true damage to the other allies, that's going to be very impactful. And this, I think, could potentially make him a very splashable hero. Okay, now this is a much tougher boss, so we might not make it to the end. We'll see, we'll see. But I'm already very much liking what I see. Compared to the playtesting of Gerda 1 to 2 weeks ago, or I guess 2 weeks ago, this is a much smoother experience. My account has actually improved. This is a very high rate of return, I would say, return on investment, if you will, because we only spent 12,000 diamonds. We hit hard pity. Okay, and we're about to hit 30%. Yeah, I might actually... I don't know. I need to get my Siren up, so I probably won't summon him on my other 2 VN accounts. But this is very nice. I'll definitely get him on my global account when he releases. And actually, earlier on, you know, on Twitch, we were talking about whether we should skip Faramor or hold off on him because we don't know yet if the collaboration heroes, Lucy and Natsu, will be viable heroes. And they're probably going to be quite good. Okay, so in this kind of situation, keep in mind, I think that as time goes on, the difference between Faramor's damage and Odie's damage widens. Because as we do more damage to Skyclops, Skyclops' defenses will go up, which means that Odie's damage will continue to be mitigated while Faramor's damage is not impacted. Because Faramor's true damage bypasses 100% of defenses. That's why it's closer. But nevertheless, though, the fact that Faramor at Epic Copy does more damage than Mythic Odie is pretty insane. And I do have Odie's hero focus maxed out. Alright, so this is very good. I think we know that a Mythic Lily May will perform better, but we're doing a Faramor showcase. We can go ahead and test him out against everyone, right? Why not? If the guild boss is alive, then maybe we could play test. Okay, I guess he's dead, so that's, I guess, alright. Alright, so let's go ahead and try him out in AFK stages next. Now, I did push a lot of AFK stages to the max yesterday. I'm actually kind of stuck on AFK stages, so let me see if with the introduction of Faramor we can push some stages. I think what I'll do, I'll go ahead and replace Cessia with a Faramor, and Faramor is going to buff Lily May. So let's see if this makes a big difference. Alright. Yeah, and you know, him buffing the ally behind him is a little bit easier to do, because generally speaking, the stronger heroes tend to be behind. So I do like this a lot. Okay, and then we'll run the confining spell. That way we see more of him. Hopefully he doesn't die too quick. So this is assessing his squishiness. He is a melee unit after all, so we don't want him to die. But you know, from what I'm seeing right now, I think his survivability is pretty good. At 1 ascension, he is already tankier than the twins. But I did push AFK stages quite a bit yesterday, so as you saw, he didn't survive very well. But that's okay. I wasn't really expecting much from that. But this is an issue that we kind of have to solve, because we do want to run him in PvP. So I'm kind of wondering, I think perhaps one thing we could try doing is instead of Lily May, let's go Cessia. So Rowan, hopefully the combination of Rowan and the twins will provide enough energy so that Cessia will ult quickly. Still beat Odie and was dead for a while. Oh yeah, you're right, okay. So if Faramor dies early, then part of it is because he's at low copies. But he seems to be doing okay. I think his survivability is reasonable. He's actually, in my opinion, tankier than Gerda. But one concern I do have is because, keep in mind, in Dream Realm it took him 18 seconds to get his ult off, and that could be a problem. Yeah, I would very much, although when he gets his ult off, it's more for the offense than the defense. Okay, let's actually do battle drills. This is going to be good, a good showcase. We can try him against the mobs and see how he does. Alright, unfortunately I can only fight the small fry, but this will give us an idea of his damage output. Okay, so what we can do is we can swap Odie with Faramor so that we have a full 5 Wilder faction. Okay, I think the, one issue with him, unfortunately, is that because he's a physical damage dealer, it would have been better if he was magic. Although I do have to admit, physical heroes do need a bit more love, so the fact that he's physical might be a good thing. I don't know. But it does mean you won't run him in an Aaron team traditionally. But anyways, that doesn't matter. Let's go ahead and give it a try. I'm curious how much damage he will end up doing in a situation like this. And keep in mind, he does have the potential to shield himself. I think that's with his first skill. Okay, now he casts his ult at the 14-second mark. Okay, so now the magic circle, and the magic circle appears. Oh wait, no, this is the ult. Alright, so that took 20 seconds. Oh, I forgot. The magic circle, does it disappear It disappeared, right? His magic circle didn't last very long. If no enemies remain in the circle for 1 second, the skill ends immediately. Okay, okay. So when the enemy dies, the circle disappears. So maybe I was right in seeing it appear at the 14-second mark. But his energy drain stops so he can cast it again. Okay, got it, got it. Thank you, Decaf. Okay, so let's try another mob. So, you know, a ton of value even before Mythic Plus. And realistically, for a free-to-play player, you won't get a hero to Mythic Plus until probably... Well, you get your first Mythic hero within the first week, but you don't really have a choice as to who's a Mythic Plus, right? Because of the RNG. I think at this point, for my main account, day 1 account, it's 3 weeks old, and I have 2 Mythic Pluses. Well, 2 Supreme Pluses, and like 6 Mythics. Alright, so let's go ahead and run something else. So, you know, even though he's very resilient, I do think that keeping him slightly in the back would be a good idea. Okay, so let's spice things up a little bit. Let's try to give him a ton of energy, and then we'll run him with Siren. I think this could be quite good. Yeah, because he's going to give Siren some attack. Oops. For anyone in the magic circle. Yeah, okay. Let's go ahead and try it. And keep in mind, so let's say his ally is a ranged unit, and say someone like a, you know those wolves that home in on your rearmost allies? It kind of, Faramor's buff kind of protects the rearmost ally that's buffed, because if they get hit, they will be stunned. Oh, and I forgot to check the damage calc. Sorry about that. I'll check the damage calcs here, although Siren's putting in a lot of work. But even though Siren put in a lot of work, I think Faramor, it's crazy. Yeah, he does so much damage. He did more damage than a legendary Thorn. Well, you know, I guess that's kind of to be expected, but nevertheless, very good. Yeah, so PvP Dream Realm, no AFK stages. Yes, I think that in a more balanced matchup, Faramor shines. I think Faramor is not really a deficit pushing unit, because he's more of a win more hero, right? He's all about dealing damage. He doesn't really contribute much to survivability. Okay, so let's go ahead and try him out in PvP. I'm going to try to not make this video too long. Alright, so PvP, I think I pushed a reasonable amount yesterday, so this should be a fair matchup. But I don't want to kill my rating because I worked very hard for it. But we are facing against 2 Supreme heroes, so this could be an interesting matchup. Alright, so, oh, this is very interesting. So he's running kind of like a sniping kind of composition. What we could do, let me see who's stronger. My Lily May's stronger, so I'm going to swap Bonnie out for Faramor. Let's go ahead and do something like this, Faramor, and I'm actually going to have Faramor be the one who's dragged over. Now the tricky thing about this, okay, this is, let's do it this way. This is not the best map, but it's fine. Alright. We'll do something like this. Okay, let's go ahead and run it. So Faramor did get dragged by Nara, but look at how much damage he's doing. he's applying a lot of offensive pressure on multiple units, and Lily May did a little bit of cleanup there. But this is very promising because keep in mind, this is only an epic Faramor. We're going against 2 supreme enemies, but we're doing okay. Okay, now the magic circle comes. Ooh, ooh. Okay. Love to see it. Dang. Alright. So our epic Faramor did the same amount of damage as our mythic Lily May. Yo! Yo, I think my 3rd account might be stronger than my 2nd account. Yeah. Dang. Alright. So let's keep going, I guess. Why not? Alright, we'll go against, Now, you guys may be wondering, well, why don't you fight people your size, you know? And the reason is because I kind of want to see what Faramor does. It's not a very good showcase if Faramor dies within, like, 5 seconds. So we're going against reasonable opponents here. Alright, so once again, we'll go ahead and do Faramor. And, you know, he's so easy to slot in. You basically run a tank, 2 supports, Faramor, and your most prized DPS. Super splashable. And because he is a wilder, and a lot of fantastic units tend to be either Graveborn or wilder, so very easy to slot in. Alright, let's go ahead and run this. We'll just run the confining spell so we can see more Faramor action. And you know, him taking the time to cast his blessing does help a little bit with his survivability. He's not like Aaron where he bolts to the front. So I think, you know, that is a nice touch that I don't know if this was intentional, but I do like it very much. Yeah, and it actually served a purpose here where I think there was at least one unit that got by our Thorn, and Faramor was able to basically be a sub-tank, if you will. Very nice. So this time around Faramor didn't do as much damage. However, I think his impact was significant. And keep in mind that he is kind of like Sonya in that he is buffing Lily May, so that is quite nice. We did win that match. Okay, let's keep going here. So we'll go ahead and ooh, okay, we got an Atalia and Gerda matchup. Very spicy. Okay, so this is going to be interesting because Gerda is going to bypass our Thorn. So the question is, can Faramor do enough to protect the back line against, you know, Atalia, against Temesia? This is kind of like a glass cannon kind of team. Alright, let's go ahead and try it. Alright, so Faramor versus Gerda. Who will win is the question. This is an epic Faramor versus a supreme Gerda. Okay, and I think Faramor did a good job of keeping Gerda distracted. Alright, so yeah, the magic circle. Okay. Alright, very interesting. Ooh, and we ranked up. And this is our first time getting into Epic 3. And this was not for lack of trying, guys. Guys. Do you know the implications of this? Holy. This is a very budget-friendly hero, Faramor is. Alright, so I don't want this to... Oh, and actually, once again, an epic Faramor did 75% damage contribution compared to a mythic Lily May. So, in summary, what do I think of Faramor? I think Faramor is a very free-to-play friendly hero who, at just one ascension in Epic, provides a lot of value. And because he's A rank, just by summoning for him once from the raid up banner allows you to ascend him once and get him very close to ascending him again. And you know, he does have, because of his true damage potential, Dream Realm boss potential, and I think with his EX weapon providing true damage to his allies in his magic circle. Let me read that. So this is EX10, right? Or no, EX1. So the magic circle weakens the enemies within it, allowing allies to deal extra true damage equal to 75% of their attack. You know, this is even better. You know why? It's not your allies need to be in the magic circle, it's the enemies need to be in the magic circle. That's even better. And because it's a magic circle, so say like in a Skyclops situation, all the bats are within the magic circle. Now against Plague Creeper, it's a little different because the Plague Rots actually come at you. But nevertheless though, this is quite nice. And the magic circle disappears. You know, actually the fact that the magic circle disappears the moment the enemy dies, I think is very good. You know why? Because it allows him to recast the magic circle in a more optimal position. So this is actually a very good thing. And he is also a temporal essence friendly. He's just a very high rate of return unit because his EX10 has no Dream Realm effect, or very little. Like his EX10 only applies to enemies that have summons, because an enemy needs to be defeated in order for the magic circle to expand. And I think the buff is not really that impactful. It just grants him an extra 10%. So his EX10 is not even needed, guys. You can get him EX5. And he will provide pretty much maximum value. So against a Dream Realm situation. And as you saw in a PvP situation, he provides a lot of value as well, because mind you, he does have a 0.5 second stun. He is a decent survivability melee unit. I mean, we only had him one ascension, so if he could go toe to toe with a Supreme Gerda, an epic Faramor holding his own against a Supreme Gerda, imagine what he would be like at Supreme himself, right? Like that Gerda probably would have disappeared in 5 seconds. So very promising there. I think I like his character design. He's a very splashable unit, so he will provide value, in my opinion, for free-to-plays, low spenders, and whales. Now, the question now is, should you summon for him? Because it is very clear that up to this point, he is probably the second most impactful rate-up hero from a PvP perspective, right? Because we got Siren. However, he could be the most impactful rate-up hero from a Dream Realm perspective. I mean, we're not counting the twins, right? Because twins is kind of pay to win. Yeah, but the question is, okay, we know that next month we got not one but 2 anniversary heroes coming out in the form of Natsu and Lucy, and that is kind of a problem because we know that we can guarantee a Mythic Plus of one anniversary hero just by playing the events. But the thing is, you're still going to need 4 more copies to get that Mythic Plus Lucy to Supreme Plus, and if you want a Supreme Plus Natsu as well, you might need to skip Faramor. I mean, the thing is, in my opinion, any rate-up hero is not a must pull, because they will be going into the rate-up banner, whereas a dimensional hero in like Lucy and Natsu, dimensional units might not be added to the wish list. We don't know. Natsu and Lucy could arguably be the first heroes that will disappear. So for this reason, it may be worthwhile to hold off on Faramor for now, even though he's very good, because if you don't have enough to Supreme Plus a Natsu and a Lucy, and if it turns out that they will not be coming back, then you might kick yourself a little bit. Yeah, although I suppose if you're a long-term player, eventually you'll get to a point next year where Paragons will kind of take over, in which case, I don't know. I guess that leaves a lot of questions left unanswered, but anyways, food for thought there. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Let me know in the comments section below what you think of Faramor's kit. Does his kit make him worthy? His potential make him worthy of your hard-earned diamonds and raid up tickets? Yes. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. All right. Wow, that was very impressive, guys. I like him a lot. I'll definitely be getting him on my global account. And my third account is probably better than my second account now. Oh wow, that's amazing. Pretty awesome.